Cartier, Dior, Givenchy, Louboutin, luxury, French. That's what this is. French, luxury. Chanel number 5, luxury French. DS number 8, luxury French. That's basically what this car is. They've changed the name, by the way. So instead of like your DS9, your DS3, it's now DS number 8. Not like the number 8 bus that you get around Basingstoke. But today, we're going driving, shall we?
We all know and love the classic DS Citroën models from the 1950s, 60s and 70s, and even the Citroën DS3 from the early 2000s gave the Mini a run for its money back in the day. But since then, the DS brand has kind of withered, hasn't it? But there are some serious numbers within this thing that make it look quite interesting. This new flagship is claiming a range of 466 miles. Yeah, and a price that starts under £55,000, which is a chunk less than German alternatives. Honestly, very impressive. Now, the bits underneath are borrowed from the Peugeot 5008, which honestly is not a bad thing. The biggest battery is just under 100 kilowatt hours. There's also a 74 kilowatt hour pack that will give you 358 miles WLTP. Yeah.
Right then, styling. If you want a full detailed look around this car, Tom has already done that in a lovely studio, so you can go back and watch that if you want full details. But here's the things that I like about this car. First of all, it's a big old boy. So we're talking about the same size as a Model Y-ish, but maybe slightly slopier at the rear end. Although when you're inside, you don't quite feel that. I do like the lights at the front. Now, obviously it's very sunny today, so you're not going to be able to see it. But at night, this looks stunning. We've also already done there's been some murders along the way where we've been putting our foot down, but that's fine. RIP, RIP. But the light design at the front I am a fan of. You've also got these lights down here, which, if that was to pull up behind you, it's a bit fangy. Bit fangy. We've also got the two-tone paint. This is a £1,000 option, by the way, if you do want to get the two-tone, but I do think it looks quite nice. And then as you head down the side, this is where you'll notice the shape of it. Now, for me, I'm not particularly a fan of the shape of the car. I know some people will be. It's very similar to an Audi Q6 e-tron, if you will. But this sloping roofline, for me, not quite. You know when sometimes you see someone draw like a concept car and they do like these big wheels with like this sloping roofline, looks really cool. They've basically turned that into an actual car, which kind of works. However, two-tone, personal preference, I would have made that black. And then it would have looked a bit sleeker, if you're with me. Let's head down the rear while we're here. By the way, biggest charging port I've ever seen. And it's one of those where you've got to press a button on the inside to open it up. That might annoy you. Down the back, we've got a big old juicy boot. We've got 620 litres of space in here. If we open it up, we've got all of our stuff in here. This holds quite a lot. There is the smallest amount of space underneath the boot floor, which is where you can keep your cables. It's quite tight. But because of the shape of it, I'm guessing you'll struggle when it comes to bigger suitcases and things like that. But when it comes to your weekly shop, your kind of normal day-to-day driving, you'll easily get a load of stuff in there. So that's not too bad. But this is what bugs me. Now, DS, I think in the UK, is not particularly a well-known brand. And I think they've acknowledged that and realised that, which is why they wanted the full DS automobiles at the back. I just find it a little bit much. A simple DS with the number 8 written in there would have worked much nicer. This colour, by the way, is Crystal Pearl. You can also get it in a nice deep blue. Fun fact, President Macron actually went around in one of these in a nice blue. It's all a bit fancy. So the version we've got here is the Étoile version, which is basically the nicest version that you can get. So these seats and all the interior is leather. Yes, you can get different colours, by the way. So you can get black, or you can go for like a blue Alcantara, which I also think looks and feels very nice, especially on the steering wheel. The Alcantara looks lovely. But this is also quite nice. I am a fan of a tan interior. Fun fact, to actually stain the leather, they used olive trees. So they got the leaves from the trees and that's how they stained it, which I found quite interesting. But it's very nice to sit in here. It is a lovely thing to sit in. I mean, we've got nice little moments in here that just look quite stylish. You don't have any more than one cup holder up here. There's your one there. And then there's more under here. Now, bearing in mind, this is supposed to be a luxury vehicle. This feels a tad on the cheap side. Does a little bit, but there's your cup holders. You can keep your keys. There's your USB-Cs, etc., where you can plug your phone in if you want to. But if you want CarPlay and Android Auto, that's all wireless within the screen. The screen itself, 16 inches. Now, all on here is where you've got everything stored. So like your music, your CarPlay, that kind of thing. But on this side, this is to be controlled by your passenger if you want to. So you can scroll through and then you can turn on your massaging seats, which has cat paw for your passenger and your driver, which I do think feels quite nice. When it's in French, it's called pat de chat. Pat de chat. It's like a paw going up and down your back, which is quite lovely. We've got heated and ventilated seats, which is also very lovely. And there's something else that I'm going to tell you while I'm driving. A little added bonus that you've got in this car that I've actually never seen in any other car before. Watch this space. I'll tell you about it later. But all on here, perfectly fine. I quite like the styling of it, and I like the kind of coppery colour. Although I can't lie, I recently sat in the new Citroen, and it's all very similar. It's all very samey. I mean, that's the thing with Stellantis cars. They all kind of have the same kind of vibe. I also need to give you a heads up about the wireless charging. Every person I know who has an iPhone that's here on this trip has been putting their phone in the wireless charging, and for some reason, it's turning on my banking app. You know, you get that sometimes. For some reason, it's doing that on here, and I find that a little bit annoying. It's annoyed me every time. Steering wheel, completely new design. I will tell you more while I'm driving, but this is completely new, and it's also very Marmite. Some people hate it, some people love it. Me, I love it. I am a fan of this. But here's your controls on here, which is one of those static but touch sensitive buttons. Like it's one big button, but you can press it. Which, not for me. I mean, there's not really like gloss black or anything in here that's going to collect fingerprints, but that will collect fingerprints. That might bug you a little bit. But this whole design is genuinely quite lovely. One thing that they have been banging on about, which they are so proud of, is the hi-fi system. Now, there are speakers up here. There you go, you can see one up there. And there's, I think, off the top of my head, I want to say 14 speakers around the car. I might have got that number wrong, but off the top of my head, I think that's right. But the sound system is very nice. And this here is a speaker. So your sound kind of comes through here. It's your speaker as well as your door handle. And this also lights up. So at night, it looks very fancy. It does. It does look very nice. And it feels very nice. But there are certain moments where you go, it's not as fancy as I thought it would be. Scratchy. Bit cheapy plastic. It's like they've given luxury a go, but only given it 70%. Do you know what I mean? Luxury, but they've cut costs. That's what it feels like. But you do have a decent head-up display that shows your navigation. That's an option, by the way. And all of this does look and feel very nice. The Alcantara is nicer, though. That does feel nice, but the Alcantara does feel nicer. Storage in here. Very similar to what you've got in the Peugeots at the moment and the Citroens. This is cooled. It's like a cool box. It's not completely refrigerated, but it is cooled. So if you want to put your cold drinks and stuff in there, it will keep them nice and cold for you. Door bins, very decent size. They've got a little bit of furry lining along the bottom. Fine. It's quite nice. But is it luxury? I don't know. I don't think it's luxury. But that's what they keep banging on about. But it's nice. Yeah. Oh, and that's your driver's screen. But we all know about that. It just looks very nice. It gives you all your driver information. Lovely.
This video is brought to you with Andersen EV, the UK's most awarded home charge point brand of 2024. Offering over 200 colour and finish options, a market-leading 7-year warranty and a unique hidden tethered cable.
Everything all right for you back there, Miss Hume?
Can you not talk to me, please?
Yes, madam.
Thank you. It's actually quite nice back here. Like, it is spacious. I've got decent legroom It's very comfortable. We've got a nice flat floor. I think my bugbear is, if this is supposed to be a nice luxury version of French brands, this doesn't feel very luxury. This is just what you get in all Stellantis cars, in your Peugeots and your Citroens, all that kind of thing. They've all got this same kind of setup in here. And that makes it feel less luxury. Although, something else that is luxury, we've got aerated seats back here. Aerated. Now, I mean, rear seats, rear heated seats are quite a common thing, but rear aerated seats, ventilated seats, yes, I'm a fan of that. I might even turn it on. How do I do it? Ba-boom. What? Ba-boom. Wait. Ba-boom? Pressing it. Pressing it. Pressing the button and pressing it. It's definitely not doing anything. There are ventilated seats when they work. Still technically pre-production, isn't it? It's not actually landing in the UK until January of 2026. So give them a minute and then there will be aerated seats. There's a button for it, so it will happen. But if this is supposed to be luxury, maybe it should have a little blind. But it feels nice with the panny roof. That's an option, by the way. That's 800 quid. But the materials are nice. I quite like the embossed vibe in the leather. That feels quite nice. It's all right. It feels quite quiet back here. This is nice driving, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Please don't talk to me. Thank you. That's a bit weird, isn't it? That sticky outy bit. That's probably for sensors and things. But if that was... Because you're probably going to hit your head if you're sat in the middle. If I'm here, then if I'm there, might hit your head up there. Boop. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's very nice driving around here. Oh, that's the reason why we're here, right? To drive. So allow me to tell you about it. Right. Yesterday, I drove the front-wheel drive version. So that has around 230 horsepower. That will give you around 358 miles of range, because that's a smaller battery, 74 kilowatt-hour battery. The version I've got here today is the all-wheel drive version, the more expensive one, if you will. But this will give you 466 miles of range. It's got a 97 kilowatt-hour battery. Will it do 466? I don't know yet. I mean, it's very warm here in Switzerland. You know, that's insane numbers, isn't it? Is that actually achievable? We don't know. So I need to give this car a proper test when it's in the UK in our great British weather. But those numbers are insane. Like, that's far. That's really impressive. It's also got 350 horsepower. Yeah, has. So that will do 0 to 62 in like 5.4 seconds or something like that. This does feel smoother. This feels much smoother than the front wheel drive, actually. It's very quiet, very smooth. Here's the thing. The steering wheel was a whole new design, right? And I think this is going to be very Marmite of how you feel about having the crisscross. Because a lot of you that would like to drive 10 and 2 would maybe get annoyed by your hands being all the way up here, because that's where your comfortable 10 and 2 will technically be. For me, I'm more either side, or when I'm feeling lazy, I'm down here. Just don't tell the police that. But I quite like this steering wheel. It's thin, so it's grippy. It just feels quite nice to hold. And I do feel like I'm sat in something special. It feels expensive. I mean, top whack for the all-wheel drive version is around £63,290. I say around, that's pretty much bang on the price, isn't it? £63,290. Yeah, because the whole thing starts, if you go for the front-wheel drive version, for the Palace version, which is basically the entry-level trim, that's £50,790. That might be right, that might be wrong. It's somewhere around that. Just over 50 grand. Let's go with that. It's all right, isn't it? When you consider the fact that this car is the same size as the Audi Q6 e-tron, but pricing-wise, it's about the same as the Q4. That's what they've done. They've undercut Audi. To me, the Q6 e-tron is just stupidly expensive. That starts at around 60 grand, doesn't it? But this full top whack, with all your bells and whistles, 63. Whereas if you go top whack Q6, you're going mega expensive. Oh, we're going into France! This is exciting! We've left Switzerland, we are now in France. Bonjour. very nice. It's kind of perfect. I'm in a French car, aren't I? Yeah. Regen braking is very, very good on this car. I can't lie. So you've got flappy paddles here, which is very similar to what you've got in other Stellantis cars. So I can flappity flap, flap, flap. Oh no, flappity flap, flap, flap to the right. There we go. And everything's been turned off. So I'm now not touching the accelerator and I am coasting. Coasting, yeah. But then if I flappity flapperoonies all the way to the left, it puts it on its strongest, and then there's a button here that gives you full, boom, one pedal driving. So then if I lift off the accelerator now, there's no one behind me. I'm coming to a stop, quite a forceful stop. And I've stopped. That is so satisfying. That's really satisfying. I like that. There's people on a tandem bike. Oh, we are so in France right now. I love it. Absolutely love it. This place is stunning. This car kind of suits this area, doesn't it? What mode are we in? Let's press the modes. Drive modes. Let's go down to drive. Yeah. And we're in normal. So if we go down to comfort, I don't think it's changed the steering much, if I'm honest. There's still a nice bit of weight behind it. And I do like this steering wheel. If we go up to sport mode, up, sport mode. Oh yeah, that's put more weight behind the steering. I quite like this. This feels oomphy. Yes. If I go, yes, that's quite nice. On paper, 350 horsepower doesn't sound like that's mega, does it? But that was quite oomphy. The front wheel drive version that we had yesterday didn't feel oomphy enough for me. I quite like a bit of power behind my cars. I do. So this is a bit more me, this. I don't know if I can afford it though. Do you know that there's been times when you're kind of driving your car and you're like, I've got my heated seats on, got my heating on, but my neck is cold. You ever had that? You ever had that feeling? You know, that really common feeling of, I've got a really cold neck. Don't worry about it. Got a neck warmer in here. There's actually a neck warmer. There's a button here for neck warmer. There we go, it's on. And it blows hot air into your neck. That's actually quite nice. That'll be nice in winter, wouldn't it? You think about it, because you don't want to take any more energy out of the battery by having your heating on. So you could just put your heated seats on, your neck warmer, and you're good to go. I feel like that's such a random invention, but actually it's quite a nice idea, isn't it? My neck's really hot now. It's really hot here today. How do I turn it off? Off. There we go, it's off. There's also loads of things that's built within the car itself. So when it comes to like connectivity, you've got ChatGPT, that kind of stuff. So let's do a little test run. How do I start it? Hey DS. Hi DS. Hello DS. DS Automobiles. Hey number 8. No. Maybe there's a button here. There we go. Tell me a joke.
Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything.
That's nice. Did you hear that? Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up things. That was all right, that, wasn't it? There we go. She can keep you entertained while you're on your journey with terrible dad jokes. But the navigation's also really impressive on here. So it's all kind of connected to the adaptive cruise control. So while you're on your adaptive cruise control, you set your speed or whatever, it will then read the speed limit signs and will put you at that speed. But then it will know if you're then also on the navigation, it will know if there's a roundabout or something coming up, and it will slow you down to make sure that you're travelling across the roundabout or round the roundabout at a perfect speed. I like that. That's very clever. That won't work if you're using it in Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It's only if you're using their navigation system. But I think that's pretty clever. Charging speeds, fairly decent. We've got 160 top whack DC rapid charging. Now, they're saying that from 20 to 55%, that's the peak that you will get. But they're saying 20 to 80%, it will do it in 27 minutes. That's very nice. AC charging can go up to 22 kilowatts. Again, very nice. We like that. We like that. I like a car that's got 22. It's nice to have that option, isn't it? There is something that bugs me ever so slightly about this car, and I don't know if it might bug you as well. but it's only going to bug you once, or maybe twice if you need to put it into reverse. But then as soon as you put it into drive, you tend to rest your hand on here, right? But this is also a cup holder that moves, like the top bit moves. So every time I put it into drive, the whole thing moves. That's bugged me a little bit. You'll probably get over it. It's not the end of the world. It's just something that's bugged me a little bit. Thought I'd point it out to you. But yeah. Thing is, when it comes to DS, and you talk about sort of other Stellantis cars, right? So you can name Citroen, Peugeot, Vauxhall, Jeep, Alfa, all of those brands, Fiat. I always forget about DS. And I think it's because you just don't see many of them out and about. But DS is always the brand that I forget. When you rattle off that list, DS for me is never on that list. Maybe that can change. Now we've got this new flagship. That could change, and I hope it does change, because this is a nice thing. This is a very lovely car. And I hope it does change, because even as you're driving around British roads, I mean, you probably see them in France and in Europe a little bit more often, but in the UK, it's rare to see a DS. It really is. It's like a spot it and punch someone kind of situation. DS, boff! And I feel like we should have more, so we can throw out more punches, maybe. Maybe one day I'll remember it. Right, efficiency-wise, we have to bear in mind it is really, really warm here in Switzerland/France. So I'm going to have to do some maths for you, because it comes up on this screen as kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, and then you have to go onto a converter and then try and figure it out to work it out in miles. So allow me to just pull over in this next section. I'll get my calculator out and we'll do some maths with an F. Right, I'm just going to pull up here. I'm just going to pull in there. That's it, lovely. Pulling over. That's great. Park. There's your handbrake. Stunning. Right. It's saying 17.3 convert is 3.59. So let's go 3.6. That's what we've been getting. 3.6 times 97, because that's the size of the battery. 349. That's interesting. 349. That's nowhere near 466. Where have they got that number from? Doesn't quite add up, does it? And it's really warm here today. We've got a heat pump as standard, fine. We haven't really got the fans on full blast or anything like that. I'm driving very carefully. We did a workshop last night where they were talking about the efficiency and that sort of thing. And on their sort of slides, it said you can expect 3.6 to 4 miles per kilowatt hour. That still doesn't add up to 466 in terms of range, does it? Let's go 350 miles, real world. Let's go with that. But also bearing in mind, it is warm here today. So who knows what it's going to be like in winter. Because they are saying it's more efficient than the E3008. But that thing was a disaster during winter. So I can only hope that it is better. We stay hopeful. We need to do a proper British test of the efficiency. It's so hard to tell when you come on a launch because you've only got the car for a couple of hours, so it's hard to tell. But those are the numbers that I've got on here. So, that's my maths. You're welcome.
Okay, I think if you were to choose one of these, I think it's a brave choice. I mean, styling is definitely personal preference, and I am a fan of having a car that's an extension of your own personality, right? So if you were to line this up side by side with a Model Y, would you rather have this or a Model Y? Me personally, I'm going for the number 8 because I find the Model Y a bit bland, and I'm not really a bland person. Do you know what I mean? So I would opt for this instead. Now, I've had a look at the monthlies. Listen to this. If you were to go for one of these on a lease, you can get them for £698 a month. Polestar 4, £616 a month, and A6 e-tron Avant, £774 a month. But hey, it's still half the price of an EQE. I I reckon that's not too bad, and the price will only go down. So we're just going to have to wait until January 2026 when the car lands on UK shores to see how well it's going to do. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Subscribe and that. See you next time. Bye babies. Bye bye.